Boxing truth here. Errol Spence Jr. is really straight up and down with no special effects. And I don't say that to insult Errol Spence, but he's not that good. He's a good fighter. He'll maybe win a couple of world titles, but I'm just not that high on the kid. I don't see him as the truth. He'll accomplish some things in his career, but is he a future pound for pound #1? Is he a pound for pound king in the future? Nah, I don't see it. And I say that because I know the limitations of Errol Spence. I saw a fight in his amateur career that really brings out his limitations, and you can see his ceiling on where he's going to be in the professional ranks. He has to be matched with a certain style to look really, really sensational. And when he's matched with this style, he looks like $1,000,000, and he has the public, infatuated with him, saying he's #1 pound for pound, that, Keith Thurman is running scared from him, that he's ducking, that you got all these new Errol Spence fanboys jumping on the bandwagon, but turning their backs on Keith Thurman just because Spence did what he was supposed to do against Lamont Peterson. But Errol is just a pretty good prize fighter that'll get beat once he's matched with a style that he's going to have to deal with at the top level. Errol Spence has no special effects. He doesn't have the foot speed, the footwork to compete with the style. He can't deal with fleet-footed boxes. He can't deal with movement. He can't deal with the feints, the in and out movement, the punching, the angles, punching while moving. That's Errol Spence's limitation. He can't deal with that style. I saw a fight about 7 years ago when he fought this Kazakhstan fighter named Sapayev, and man, I'll leave some footage after the video or before the video, but you'll see in the first 20 seconds of the fight on how this cat just totally outclassed and schooled Errol Spence. And that's the style that Errol Spence and the matchmakers that are matching his fights need to stay away from. They can't put him in there with guys that are fleet-footed, that can move around the ring, that can provide angles. Let me tell you something right now. An old Manny Pacquiao would give Errol Spence hell because of the footwork, the foot speed, the angles that Pacquiao would provide. An old Manny Pacquiao could whoop Errol Spence right now. Because Spence, his style is he's in the pocket. He likes to bang out one of his opponents. He's an entertaining fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's not a boring fighter to watch, but he's gonna have trouble fighting the likes of Keith Thurman, fighting the likes of Jeff Horn, fighting the likes of Pacquiao. He has to fight those pressure fighters, or those fighters like Lamont Peterson that stand in front of him. People were saying, why was Peterson standing in front of him? That's his style. He likes to put pressure on his opponents. He's not a mover. And Kell Brook, he's not a mover as well. He's a distance fighter that uses range, and he uses step back counters to fight you. But he stands in the pocket, so that style suited Errol Spence more. But even then, Kell Brook was still giving him problems. Still was outskilling him. Still was outboxing him in the first half of that fight. So Kell Brook is right when he says Errol Spence is not that great. Errol Spence is lucky that Brook was coming off the knockout loss to Golovkin, needed to drain himself and lose all that muscle that he gained from the Golovkin fight, and it wasn't his night. And Spence got Brook at the right time, and luckily for him, it was the perfect time to jump in that opportunity. He was able to get that win, and he was able to gain a strap. But there's still much left to be desired in his career. He is up there in age, 28 now, only one title defense. But I don't see him as not even a top 4, not even a top 2 or top 3 welterweight right now, because Jeff Horn and Keith Thurman, they're going to provide the style that Errol Spence has absolute fits with, and that's the movement, the angles, the footwork, the foot speed. Let's see if he's really improved on that now that he's, what, about 5 years in it, almost 6 years into his professional career. But that's the style that has been his kryptonite. He hasn't been able to deal with that style, and that's why he's always lost to. He hasn't had much success in an international level. Was always getting beat by the Eastern European fighters out there in the World Championships and the Olympics. Couldn't beat that Sapayev cat from Kazakhstan. Got outclassed in both fights, 2 times that he fought him. So I'm not saying this to knock Spence. I'm just saying to, this is the reality. He's a good fighter, but he's not that good. And to me, he's a little overrated because people say he's the truth. But if he was truly the truth, he wouldn't be getting outclassed like this, like he did in those World Championships in Baku back in 2011. He wouldn't be getting easily outboxed. He is tough. He's tough as nails. He's a dog. He does everything good when it comes to his technique. Good jab, good body punching, solid speed. But it's his footwork that's his Achilles heel. He just doesn't have that part of his repertoire. He needs to really improve that in his game. He needs to provide more fleet-footedness, more quickness with his foot speed in order to beat the likes of Keith Thurman or Jeff Horn. Even an old Manny Pacquiao would give Errol Spence hell. But I know a lot of y'all are excited, but don't get too excited, because once he fights that style, you're going to see the limitations of Errol Spence Jr. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.
So the blue corner, the favourite to take this, and by far the higher ranked boxer in this quarter-final. Let's see if Errol Spence can cause an upset. See, we've just watched the American in the flyweight category, Raushi Warren, defeat the English boxer Kaldia Fight. Sapiev, 7 years the senior to the American boxer in red. Just a couple of centimetres taller, but a lot of experience. Represented Kazakhstan at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, 6th position there. And it's a great start from the Errol Spence, just a little overawed by the occasion in the opening exchanges, and that's why. But once he started settling the butterflies and getting everything in gear, he put in 1 or 2 nice shots to the number.